Hi, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Okay, guys, it's ready. I'm not debuting it today though. Sorry, I'm not debuting it on this episode. It is ready. I'm getting all these green lights from all the guests of being like, no, it's like really cool. Like it's got multiple meanings and stuff, and like visually it's gonna look really cool as well once you like market it properly and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like at this point, with the amount of guests that I'm having, I feel like I'm probably have to debut it at the end. Sorry, so stay tuned for that. But hi, I'm Ryan, your host of this podcast, which seeks to delve into the nuances of identity, culture, and heritage of those who identify as quote-unquote Asian. This podcast wants to contribute to the current discourse surrounding the Asian experience in the UK. In this episode, we are joined by Rhea. Could you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Rhea Kapoor, and I am a second-year student here at Warwick, and I study history.
Awesome. Another humanities student collected. It's like Pokemon right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people that
It can't be the STEM Asian stereotype. Come on, we gotta beat that.
I've only got one STEM Asian stereotype.
Oh my god.
Right now, currently.
Oh my god, they're in the minority.
Yeah, they are in the minority. I need to get some more STEM people. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
So if you know any STEM Asian people that would be interested in guesting.
Mm-hmm. You could just wander out the WBS building, catch someone. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna elaborate on that. Anyways, so the second year, great. Term 3, last few couple of weeks of term 3. How are you feeling?
Very relieved to have stuff over. Low-key burnt out. I have a bit of lower back pain. Don't know what's going on there. Probably a latent response to all my assignments. Don't even carry a backpack around, which is crazy. So I'll have that kind of, all the stress is going to my lower back, aging very quickly, clearly. So
Yeah, younger than me.
Yeah, but I'm clearly like catching up.
Okay.
Like with all my bones are decaying very slowly. Yeah, these are dentures actually. I'm going to take them out halfway. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So another question that I ask my guests is the introductory question that revolves around food. So
Amazing.
Your question today is...
Drum roll.
What do you think is the most overrated dish?
In the world?
In the world.
Not Asian specific, just
Not Asian, in the world generally. Because I can't be Asian, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because all of them are good.
Oh yeah. Dish in the overrated dish in the world. That is a good question. What is a dish that everyone loves? I'm trying to think.
Oh, you want to be controversial?
Yeah, I'm gonna be controversial. I'm gonna be really controversial.
Okay.
No, because even the British ones like baked beans and stuff, I love those.
I do really like a baked
I love baked beans or jacket potato. So I would say no, that's actually stupid. No, they're banger. They're golden. I would say God. I'm gonna be no. I was low key. Okay. I don't mean this in a way where I'm like it's not good. It's delicious. Bacon. Okay. Listen. Bacon is great. It's so good. I'm not gonna say, but people like it is not as good as people rate it.
That is insane.
Bacon. It's insane. Okay. It's salty and chewy. Amazing, right? Amazing. But at the end of the day, people treat it like it's kind of nectar that has been handed from the gods. Whether people are like Zeus handed it to me himself or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. We love bacon. It's great with an English breakfast, whatever. But at the end of the day, sausages are like I'd rather have sausages over bacon any day. Sausages, yeah, come on, give me that. Give me bolognese. Bacon, I love bacon. Don't get me wrong. This is not me hating bacon. This is me just telling bacon that it needs to step down from its pedestal, and it's not in the top 3 in the podium. I would give it a bronze, maybe even 4th place in terms of like meat like dishes. It's not a gold medalist. I'm sorry. If it's gold medalist, then it's definitely cheating and using steroids, that kind of thing. It's the Lance Armstrong of meats. I hate to say that.
Right. Okay.
I'm already upset, Ryan. And his Geordie accent's going to come out soon.
Oh, bro, I've got a video to show you. It was the video that I did show you excerpt of. I need to show you the entire video now. That was only an excerpt.
Yeah.
I'm preparing this for like this Sunday to present to like the rest of the society.
Yeah.
The rest of radio society, basically.
Yeah.
Bro. Oh, anyways, you're reminding me of like editing this video and how much it like pissed me off, bro. Mm-hmm. But anyways, we'll get back to the podcast.
After I've upset everyone.
After you've just upset me.
Mm-hmm.
Just me.
And most listeners, I imagine.
And most listeners.
And they'll be clicking off right now. So, yeah.
Stay tuned for some more controversial takes.
Yeah. Bacon.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so final...
Now let's talk about racism.
Final introductory question, Rhea,
Yeah,
is where you, quote-unquote, actually from?
Where am I, like, really from?
Yes.
Oh, my God. That's a lot. I'm from India. I'm from London, but my parents are Indian.
Okay, awesome.
So
let's delve into your family tree.
Awesome.
You are Indian, so
Yeah.
Indian's basically a subcontinent. Surely your parents are from different parts of India, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. My mum is from East India. She's from a place called Bihar, a state called Bihar. She's from Patna. My dad's family is originally from Punjab. But they grew up in Bombay, South Bombay, Bandra specifically. And so, yeah, we have kind of spread out a lot. And my dad also spent a lot of time in Manchester when he was a kid as well. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
So, Bombay,
man. South Bombay, yes.
South Bombay specifically.
Yes.
You came in here prior to the podcast. We barely really knew each other, so we kind of spent I think an hour, more than 45 minutes, basically just kind of getting to getting to know each other, right?
Yeah.
So you came in straight away, mentioned Bombay. I was like, great, Bombay, love Bombay. And then you just basically went off on one about Bombay.
Oh my God, I love Bombay. I've been there once. It's the kind of place where you just go there once and it's just kind of you're like, oh my God, I love that place. It's the most annoying, obnoxious thing to do. But no, I absolutely love that place. I love that city. I love the whole vibe of it. My family talking about growing up there, my dad's family just sounds magical. You have the glamour of the Bollywood stars, and you have the beach, and you have the food, and you just have, my mum worked there for a bit, and she has the most amazing stories about working there, where she's like, it just changed my whole life, man. It's just, I feel like it's the way some people talk about being on like this, how people in the 60s talked about going on drugs, but they're like, man, it's just changing your perspective, man. But it really feels like that. I love that place.
Yeah, I haven't visited Mumbai before. I really do want to go to Mumbai and just have a look and see what's the big fuss about, because people who are from Bombay just love it.
They love it. There's a quote my uncle sometimes puts on his WhatsApp story, which tells you how old he is, because I didn't even know that existed. But on his WhatsApp story, he has this thing of Mumbai is a name and Bombay is an emotion.
Wow.
Because Mumbai was the name given by the British. So Mumbai is the name that you see on the airport, signs, you see it on your passport. But Bombay, people from Bombay will call it Bombay, even though they've grown up in the 21st century and they've heard it called Mumbai, they will still call it Bombay.
Have I been wrong for the longest time?
Yeah, you've kind of been misnaming it, and I've just
No, as in I thought Mumbai was its.
No, Bombay is the proper name.
Bombay is the proper name?
And Mumbai is the British given name.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. No. But it's still called Mumbai on Google Maps and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, because that's the definitive name. It's kind of how India is the name that everyone calls India, if they're not from there. But if you go to India, people call it Bharat, because that was the name it was given before.
Oh.
Kind of thing.
Because it's like Benares, for example.
Yeah.
Benares is the English name that was given, but it's actually now called Varanasi.
Yeah, Varanasi. Yeah,
which makes sense because you've got Vara and Nasi, and then you've got the River Ganges in between, which is cool.
Which is Ganga.
Actually, exactly. It's not Ganges, it's
Ganga.
Yes,
exactly.
Anyways, India's great. India's cool. India's really cool in my opinion. But my Nithika's gonna love me saying that. But yeah, no, honestly, I've already mentioned it in previous episodes as well. Just a lot of experiences that I had when visiting India and stuff, and where I went. But I guess the listeners already know. So interviewing you, I suggest that we start talking about how often you go to India. I guess
okay.
What is how big was Indian influences on you, because already you're talking about Bombay, you're talking about you're implying Bollywood and stuff like that. Obviously Indian culture is such a massive thing for you. So I guess we can start with how often you went back to India.
I go back every year. Once a year. I'm going back in August for a bit. My mum always made it a kind of a tradition, not tradition, just she made it important to me that we go back every year, and important to the family that we go back every year. So obviously during COVID that became interrupted, but like usually we would go back every year. If not, sometimes my mum goes back twice a year, and we'll go for like a while during the hottest months, during mango season, and then also
Indian mangoes.
I'm just saying.
Sorry.
Yeah,
best in the world.
Best
I'm
in the
sorry,
world.
and I need to have a mango which proves me otherwise. I'm sorry.
No, real. Honestly, because there's a weird thing, but to be fair, I haven't tried it. I've been told mangoes from the Caribbean are very good.
Apparently, mangoes for the Philippines are very good too.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't definitively say like. However, if we're doing the whole like Tesco mangoes versus Indian mangoes,
oh, bro, no competition.
I fear. Sorry, Tesco. You usually win every battle, but like the thing is, today you've lost. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, they do. They obviously. Wouldn't you rather have microwave biryani than biryani from Agra? Like, be real. I'm joking. Microwavable biryani. Then from rather than like an Indian grandma's. Come on, man. It's 3 minutes or less. Yeah. Come on.
Well, frankly, I would want it from the ground, from the furnace, the smoky biryani. Frankly.
Oh, come on, 3 minutes or less, man. Like take your pick. Come on, come on. Grandma's like, I need hours. Like, okay, fine. A Tesco needs 3 minutes. That's my motto.
Yikes, bruv. Okay. Well,
I am joking.
The whitewash is coming out now.
I am joking. I want to preface this. I just say something very deadpan. Anyway, go on.
So yeah,
I'm not about to come on here and be like, "Hey guys, eat Tesco biryani" as an Indian person.
Oh my god.
Go on.
So obviously you've gone back and forth in India. Indian culture is like obviously very big in your family.
Yeah.
Your mum really wants to forefront it in your clearly when you were growing up as well.
Yeah.
London, specifically West Hampstead.
Yeah.
Primary, secondary school. That's an interesting story to tell.
Yes. I went to a very interesting primary. So I went to this school that I was there for primary and secondary, and then I went to a different sixth form. So I was there from year 1 to year 11. I'm going to kind of talk about it collectively.
Yes.
It's called St. James Senior Girls' School. And from sounding the name, you immediately think, oh, it was a Catholic school because St. James, right? And in some respects, yes, we had the plaid skirts that were 3/4 of an inch above the knee that the creepy teachers used to measure with a ruler, which it's just still strange. And then we had nativity play where I delivered an amazing Angel Gabriel performance that's still talked about to this day. And we had a pastor, we had people. We had Christmas fairs, so it was very much like your regular old Christian school. So you're like, what's special about this? A private school, Christian school, this is nothing special. Well. There's a twist where not only did we do that whole shtick of, the Christian thing, we had another thing where we were very influenced by the Indian subcontinent culture. So we actually learned Sanskrit. Or everyone in school learned Sanskrit up until the age of 14, from year 1 to 5 to 14. We meditated twice a day for 10 minutes. We would say an incantation at the beginning and end of every lesson, which was Om Paramatmane Namah Atta, and then at the end we'd say Om Paramatmane Namah Iti, which means to my best self a bow. We were vegetarian. No, corn and chips on Fridays, nothing quite as exciting. So we had this like fusion of like, I would go and obviously we'd say the Lord's Prayer, then immediately you'd hear some Sanskrit and you're like, what's going on here? What is going on here? There's some the school was having an identity crisis. The school was an eat, pray, love, like went to India, had like a life-changing experience where like the founder, I was telling Ryan this, Liam McLaren, Scottish guy, went to India, had this kind of like, oh my God, it's so colorful and it smells so good here. And then like came back.
And then American accent.
Yeah, he was a Scottish American. I just imagine that's how they all sound when they go to India. And then they come back and then, when you're on your gap year and you come back and then maybe you have like a ponytail. Dude just decided to found a whole school. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? And that's why it's kind of this weird concoction, like cocktail of like Christian values, and then randomly just sprinkle in some Indian spiciness there, some exotic kind of meditation stuff. So I had that kind of dualness where I was just like, I feel like I'm also like, I'm like learning about Christianity, I'm saying like, "Oh, Father who art in heaven," and then I'm like, "Om Paramat Mane Nama." I'm like, "Oh wow," which is
In that accent.
yeah. No, to be fair, you would be like white netball girls with like that tight, like the ponytails, eventually becoming like so far above their head it became like unicorn like, and then like they would be saying like Om Paramat Mane Nama. It's like in that accent, Om Paramat Mane Nama. And I'm like, oh my, I was like, that's what you'd hear every day for 10 years. And you're like, what is going on? I'm like, if we're going to pick and choose, like, I'm like, I was just saying, if we're going to be that insane, why don't we just make St. James the most identity confused? Like, why don't we take something from every religion? Like, take them from Judaism, Islam, make it the most confusing. We'll recite from the Torah randomly, or like the Quran. Just make it really confusing for everyone. Just pray 5 times a day randomly, and then randomly go to the Sabbath. I'm like, just make it so confusing that everyone's going through crisis. So anyway. Yeah.
Clearly, you went through a crisis going to that school.
No, I think the school was going through a crisis. So I was just like, "Girl, why are you saying random Sanskrit after the Lord's Prayer? Like, what? The Lord would not want that, really. Jesus would not like that. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Jesus is like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be praying for me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Devil's worship.
Yeah.
In some parts of,
of
the church, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I guess another question to follow up on that, on your kind of like primary/secondary school education, is I guess like the friend groups, like how diverse was this? Because like when you say that, oh, I went to a private girls' school in
you have connotations.
Chelsea.
Yeah, there's connotations.
There's connotations to that. So like it would be nice for you to elaborate for the listeners.
Yeah, like what kind of connotations? Is it like about, what is it about, like height? What is it?
It's definitely about
like a lot of tall people. No.
It's just tall people.
Yeah, it's about like the short tall divide.
Yeah.
No, basically it was a majority. It was a very small school, to be fair. There were only 40 girls in a year. There were, I would say, majority a majority white girl kind of cohort. Shock horror, oh my god. But there were like there were people of color in my school. Like one of my best friends is a black girl. She was one of the only black girls in our year for a lot of time. She stayed till the end of sixth form. So she was like, yeah, that was really an experience for her. And then you had I was not the only Indian girl. There were like 1 or 2 others. So it wasn't like it was just me against all these white girls. But like it was a majority white school, and also like, if not white, like girls, like white culture kind of. It felt like the kind of very whitewashed-ish nature to everything. So yeah, no, it was definitely. But I was friends with like a lot of the people of color. Yeah. Because a lot of people came and left St. James because it was just like that kind of culture. So yeah,
It's giving international school.
It's giving international school. There was one girl who I'm really good friends with to this day called Hannah, who like came for 1 year and left. And we had teachers who do that, like who came for 1 year and left, had a breakdown and left. And I was like, oh, we're kind of like a little asylum here. And I stayed through the entire thing, so I'm happy. Yeah, so they should get the padded walls just to really add to the vibe. But anyway. Anyway.
I mean, was it this school where you had the story where you were kind of cringing with the dancing and stuff like that?
Oh my gosh,
school?
yes.
Okay, was it this part of your education that you had like that cringe?
Yes. So I basically I think, I don't want to speak for all the brown kids or all the Asian kids or any kid who isn't white, but I think you have, as when you're a kid and you're like and your mum or your dad or your parents are very proud of your culture. That's why my mum sent me to a school that taught me Sanskrit. You have this desire, because you're a kid and it's very pure, to like share it with people or tell people like, oh, I do this and that. And you don't have that kind of voice in your head saying don't do it or anything. You have that kind of pure like just vigor. You're like, I want to tell people. And then you tell people when you're 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it's met with some kind of like, oh, what is that? But why do you say that word when you call your granddad Nana? That's kind of a funny word. We'll say it again. And then you have that thing of like, I was telling Ryan, where like, even if you don't want to be whitewashed, you feel like you have no choice but to be, because you're so scared of being ridiculed. So instead of like being like, oh yeah, I eat this and I have like turmeric, I put turmeric on my face before school, or my mum puts oil in my hair or whatever, I would kind of just like dilute it. I'd be like, oh yeah, no, like I remember I put turmeric on my face before school because I was really into skincare, and I would have like a bit of like yellow on my white shirt, and I would tell people being because they would be like, oh, what's that? And I'd literally be like, oh, it was like the most dumb lie ever. I'd be like, oh, I was like painting with my little cousins and they got some yellow paint on me and stuff like that. So just so I could not say like I used turmeric, because that would be such a like cannon fodder for them to be like, oh, that's kind of weird. So I think you have that, like my mom made me, and I love her for it and I'm very grateful. My mom forced me to do Indian classical dancing for 10 years. And I got pretty good in a humble way. I was really good. No, I got really good, and I'm very grateful for her to have done this. But I would not tell anyone in my school that I did it. My friends found out recently I did it, and they were so surprised. They were like, "Oh, I didn't know," because I was so scared of judgment. And there was a time during assembly once when Indian classical dancer who was doing Bharatanatyam, I think, was invited to come and dance. And I remember, like, she was such a beautiful dancer, and she was such an amazing dancer. And it was nothing to do with her skill or ability. She was amazing, but part of me felt like so like embarrassed of her, like there being a remark that I couldn't really look at the dance, where I was like looking down, and I was just so scared of people saying something, so I just didn't engage, and I was like looking down, I didn't really look. And so, yeah, you have that thing of like you feel a bit of both like a white culture is superior, and I need to hide my culture. And then that's inevitably leads to being whitewashed, right?
Yeah, I liked how you mentioned that prior to the podcast. The way that you phrased it was like, oh, you're going to get whitewashed, but you don't want to be.
Yeah,
like, it's not by choice, is it?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a line that I think a lot of Asian kids who are born and raised in Britain are probably going to feel are quite resonant with, because like even that line when you said it prior to the podcast, I was just like, no, yeah, the way that you articulated it, yeah, I guess so, because like my own relationship to being whitewashed is just being like, oh yeah, I'm just whitewashed. It's just like compared to some of the other kind of like more Asian, because comparing Asianness is a thing.
How Asian are you?
How Asian are you? It's like, for me, I've kind of accepted my own whitewashedness. It's like, well, yeah, I can't really speak the language. Like, I'm one of those kids who can understand but can't speak it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but there's elements of my identity which are so kind of ingrained in my own Asianness. It's like my love for food, my love to host, my love to kind of like just be nice to people, frankly. But like, yeah, it's just like, I've understood that it's like, oh yeah, I am a little bit whitewashed. I'm very British.
My need to bully has come from my Asianness. So if you say I can't bully people, that's racist. So thank you so much. Yeah,
So like, yeah, it's like, I understand that my Britishness is also like a big factor as well. It's like, well, yeah, I love beans on toast. It's like, it's like I love sausage and mash. It's like I love an English tea. Frankly, I do like an English tea, but I also like chai and also like Chinese tea. I also like yin yang, which is a Hong Kong style of English tea and coffee. Yeah. So like honestly, like I don't know, like the limits. I feel like calling or labeling yourself as like super whitewashed, like a banana, for example, or
coconut.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you for filling the blank in. It's like, yeah, it's not.
Go on, Ryan. No, say it.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's like damaging, but it's just a little bit limiting. I don't know.
I think it puts a certain amount of blame on solely yourself.
Yes.
Because you're acting like you've kind of shunned it because you're kind of this. You don't care, and you're doing it because you're ashamed, and it's kind of completely on you. And I think saying you're whitewashed has this kind of. Yeah, you don't look at other factors that have maybe compelled you to act that way. And so I think saying you're whitewashed is kind of, it's unfair to yourself. Because I think you can say like, yeah, maybe that's the result, but like it's come from somewhere, and probably it's come from external judgment.
Okay, so yeah, honestly, like I think it's fair for you to not blame all of it on kind of yourself, but partially to the surroundings that you are in. The UK is super kind of like, it's super white. No, it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's like the culture here is very assimilating. I don't know. It's like, it's asking
kind of forces you
to. It requires you to a little bit, you know, assimilate,
yeah,
right? And it's the same way as our parents kind of like experience as well, where it's like, oh, you speak English very well.
Yeah, the patronizing.
Right? So like on this strain about kind of, I guess, implicit racism, we'll move on to sixth form. We'll move on to we'll move on to your move to sixth form and how, I guess, racism may perhaps have developed when you went to do your A-levels.
I went to a different school I left St. James in all its panic room padded glory, and I went to this school called UCS, a University College School, and it was a co-ed school, so a huge difference there and then. Completely shattered my illusions of men. My bad for thinking all men were like Hugh Grant from Notting Hill. Definitely not. My God. And then I went to this school, and it was going to private school. Coming from a private school, I was already aware of like how rich people could be, which is like kind of inconceivable to me. We're very comfortably, I would say, middle class people. My parents are, but my mum, my mum's a single, like she works for the NHS. My parents both work, so there is a kind of element to like we earned this money, and education is very important to us culturally. So there is a bit of like, don't take this for granted. And a lot of kids, I think, when you're that rich, and I think there's an inevitability of you take stuff for granted. You take classes, going to class, for example, you don't have to go to class. Oh, doing homework is fine. Or, like being respectful to teachers kind of vibe, you don't have to. Or like, I think, and that kind of became, I hate that. No, I don't even want to talk about it. It makes me so angry, man.
Okay. I'll just hyperventilate in the corner.
Yeah, for real. I think it became a bit more magnified, where it was like the people just were richer, and even like people would there was one kid who would take I'm not going to name him, he would take a black cab to school for like 6 months. And, like black cabs are by the meter. So that would be, I don't know how much it would be, like 30, 40 pounds a day. I don't even know. But like, that's the kind of rich we're talking about. And people would like take off school to get hair appointments in Hampstead. It was like, there were like kids of very famous people who went to the school. So it was very much like I would go, and in terms of relating it back to racism and my experience of that, I'm not going to say like, I'm not going to be like, hey, it's all white people doing this. And it was just a white school. And I was like, and I was the only brown kid there. I was like, not at all. It was pretty, I would say it was majority white, but I would say it was fairly racially diverse. I hesitate to use the word diverse. There was like you had representation from different racial groups, and listen, there were some kids who were like Indian, who were Arabic, who were whatever, black, and they had the kind of same like the class kind of thing, where like sometimes the class kind of puts you in a group of your own despite you being racially different, where like you had that kind of attitude towards money, which was just very different. You had like Indian kids who would go out to eat sushi, like because they hated the school food, quote unquote. I loved it. I was coming from a vegetarian school. They served chicken. It was amazing. I was like, this is heaven. But like there would be like a person who would go, get Deliveroo, because they were like, I can't eat the school food. Like I can't. It's like so gross. So you had that. So there was a definitely, and then there was also the opposite side of, if you had like the people who were like me, who had working parents who like had worked really hard to send their kids to school, and especially like you could tell more with the people of color who had that experience of like, education is very important. I'm not going to waste this. And they came with a goal to be like, I'm going to work hard and go home, do my homework, come to school, not be disrespectful. And because this is an opportunity and I can't waste it. And I was always very, very aware of the fact that you would sometimes get judged a bit if you didn't, quote unquote, like bunk, or you didn't have the kind of, oh, do you want to go for a smoke, or, like around the corner? And I was like, no, I don't want to. I would rather stay in and work. And you'd get judged for it. People would be like, oh, okay. And it was, again, not just the white kids. It was a lot. So yeah. Anyway,
it was just the culture.
It was the culture. So, it's a more, I would say it was more classist than racist, because I don't think I experienced racism there, because there were a lot of perspectives there, and I think it was way more classed. It was way more class distinctive than racially like dividing. I would say.
Yeah, honestly, like really fascinating from my perspective because I'm just getting a glimpse into like very much. I think you said before the podcast like what 1%. Like these were like the ultra rich, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I use the word 1%, but like I don't know if they were the 1%. But like that kind of idea of like, oh, like yeah, my mom can't come to the parent teacher meeting. She's at a spa in Switzerland. You know, like that kind of thing. There would say sentences like that, and that would be like a legitimate thing when people would be like, oh, of course, yeah. You know what I mean?
And the response would be like that's normal.
Yeah, like I was just like, oh, like for me, like in my head, I was like, oh wow, because that's like but like that would just be like a nodding, you know, kind of thing. Whereas like that would be like, oh my god, like if someone said that to me, like if I said that about my mum, they'd be like, oh my god, really?
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
But since we are running out of time, like it has really gone very quickly.
Oh my gosh.
But final question. I guess since we are doing this progression from primary, secondary, sixth form, we'll end up at uni. We've ended up at uni. We're at the Uni of Warwick. How has racism, I guess, any experiences that you've had, I guess, if we're going to continue this train about like racism, stuff like that, or maybe even classism as well to an extent, how have you kind of experienced all of this at a new space, which is Warwick Uni?
I will say I'm very lucky because I haven't experienced any forms of, and I'm very attuned to it because I do history and I've taken a lot of modules about and written about, like in my essays about race, critical race theory and like studying race and whatever. So I feel like I'm become more attuned to it. But I think in that way, because I've become so attuned to it, I haven't really experienced any significant incidences of racism here. And I feel like my friends, to be fair, I'm very careful with how I pick my friends, and obviously I make sure they have the same values of like, anti-racism, anti-sexism, whatever, the kind of that shared, like caring about human rights or being woke, as they call it. But I think I'm very careful. So because I've been very careful, I think my friends are very understanding. But in terms about Warwick, I've been very lucky. But outside of Warwick, like I think I was telling you recently, me and my friends were in Europe, and I had this experience of this, and I've never had an experience like so explicit. It's always been very implicit, of this man who was this just a strange guy who came up to us. He was on drugs, and he was like offering us coke, and he was clearly very paranoid about stuff. He kept being like, "Are you laughing at me? Are you laughing at me?" So there was a defensiveness. He was talking about like how everyone wants to be someone else nowadays. No one is happy with their culture, and he was like, especially Indians. Indians are slime balls. They are the worst. Indians and Pakistanis are the slimiest people. And obviously, I'm guessing he didn't realize it was Indian. And then afterwards, my friends kind of was like, "Okay, bye," but that kind of thing, like, be gone. You are dismissed. But like, my friends, so that kind of thing where it kind of sat with me for a while, where I was like I was just sitting on my bed. I was just like, I've never experienced that, and that was so like aggressive and in my face. So that kind of thing was very recent. It was like 2 weeks ago. So I think that was a very recent thing where I was like, whoa, people, like my parents probably had incidences like that, where my dad said like, oh, you would get the occasional people saying Paki and choc ice, which I was like, what is choc ice? He's like, chocolate ice cream, which is like, okay.
Well, clearly he'd spent some time in Manchester.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he's from Manchester. Yeah. He grew up. So I was like, that's like, imagine like what my grandparents or my parents must have been like, that experience of just like blatant.
Yeah.
In
your
face. That no like subtlety, just like, oh, by the way, you are kind of thing. Yeah.
So I mean, like obviously you experienced your fair share of, I guess, arguably implicit racism, like even though it wasn't in your face, like very much in that space as well, where you'd think that ultra like classism would be more prevalent, but there was still kind of this essence of like racism there. Something that you did mention before as well, like the music taste as well.
Yes.
Like you went on a whole tangent, but like if you could briefly summarize what you kind of said. Sure.
I think there's a belief, very quickly, I'll be very brief about this. When you go to a majority white school, or just generally you interact with a lot of white people have this belief, and this is me being general, I'm not saying everyone. There's a belief, especially from childhood, that white culture is everyone's culture, and that people who aren't white have this like like their culture is kind of sidelined for white culture. So if you don't like, it's not just music, it can be books, it can be films. So if you, for example, I was given like a lot of flack if I didn't know like this Beatles song or this David Bowie song or this specific Led Zeppelin song. I was like, what do you mean you don't know X? What do you mean you don't know Elton John? What do you mean? You know, that was kind of like a shock horror thing. But like, because white culture is considered everyone's culture. But then if it was the reverse, because a lot of Indian kids and brown kids growing up in the UK and can identify with this, you grew up listening to a lot of R&B and hip hop. A lot of it. So my older cousin loved Tupac, Jay-Z, whatever. So I was listening to that, Rihanna, Jessie Child. But like, if I would mention it, there would be I had a girl who was 7 or 8 years old. She was like, I don't know who Prince or Michael Jackson is. And for me, that is insane.
That's a crime.
That's a crime. But like, I was given so much hate for like not knowing this one Beatles song. But like, for her to be like, oh, I don't know who Prince. And people were like, yeah, it makes sense. And I was just like absolutely insane. Because the thing is, white culture people don't really realize you leave Europe, and the people who are the biggest artists in India, in China, in Africa, are Michael Jackson, are Beyonce. Sorry, no one gives a fuck about Taylor Swift in India. I'm gonna be so real. No one gives a fuck. Like you say someone like, there's the thing of like, go on here, dude. You think you're Michael Jackson? If you're dancing, you think you can dance like Michael Jackson? He is, you know. So people have that weird thing of like, they'll shame you for not knowing elements of white culture, but because they think white culture is everyone's culture, and then you're like, no, you venture out of the UK, you venture out of London, you venture out of Europe. People don't care about like like the Beatles, sure, but like I'm like, people will know about Michael Jackson before they know about the Beatles. People will know about, people in East Africa think about Bollywood more than they think about Hollywood. You know?
Awesome. No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I do completely agree, but we have run out of time.
Oh no, sorry, I've yapped too much.
Sadly, we have run out of time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rhea, for coming in.
It was lovely. Thank you for having me.
Obviously, great. And another great guest to add to the collection. Another, I think, a very energetic episode. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, it's gonna be a good listen in comparison to all the other kind of episodes that I have recorded and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so grateful for you to come in.
Oh, thank you for having me so much.
To the listener, hopefully you've enjoyed listening to a glimpse of, I guess, high culture, like very like upper, like very London, just very London,
London,
just London, basically.
Private school kind of experience, yeah.
So yeah, I've been your host Ryan, and we'll see you in the next episode.